So in today's video we're actually doing something slightly different than usual. I got sent this acrylic marker set by Arrtx and we will put them to the test. I'm very excited because I've been seeing these around pretty much everywhere on social media and I haven't actually ever tried acrylic markers properly before. And I was actually very happy to get this particular set sent to me because the colors are ever so pretty and they fit right into the type of artwork I usually do. So I'll firstly tell you a bit about these markers. They are a no pumping set, and on the markers itself it does say to shake well before use, but I found the ink flowing to the tip quite easily without doing too much. Also, this is a 36 color set. They are waterproof, they have a brush tip, and for me personally the brush tip feature is the most important, as you can get a lot of variety in the thickness of the pen marks and you can go pretty thin or quite thick as well. And these are all the colors swatched alongside some swatches on different types of paper. So I did a very rough sketch of my composition before starting on the actual drawing to get an idea of the colors I want to use, and I chose to do the first one on toned paper because I feel like toned paper works so nicely with brighter, bolder colors. But don't worry, because I also tested them on regular white paper later in the video. I also wanted to mention that you can use these on various surfaces as well. I've seen people using them on card, wood, even rocks, so it's nice that you can take this out of your sketchbook and play around. Now, I do want to mention that even though these have been sent to me, this is 100% my honest opinion. I'm not getting paid for this at all. And now let's talk about these pens. I found all of them to be pretty opaque. I think you can see that in the footage, and I purposely didn't speed up all of the clips in the video so you can see how they go down on paper in real time. And also this is another reason why I use toned paper, so we can see how good of a coverage these have. And the only color I had to layer out a bit more than the rest has been the white, but with all of them I did between 1 to 3 coats on this particular painting / drawing. I didn't notice any inconsistencies with the colors either, and I did multiple drawings to try to use pretty much all of them. It's also nice that the color name is on the cap, because I know in some of their past sets you had to put the stickers of the colors yourself on the pens. So these definitely tell me that Arrtx does listen to their feedback. And another thing, I think the clouds / flowers on the markers itself are transparent to let you know how much ink you have left in the pen. I'm not 100% sure about this, so I will have to report on this in the future when I get to the end of some of the pens. Now, I did not test to see how much paint is in the markers, as in all honesty I do quite like them and I didn't want to waste any of the paint. So doing this, I have to report that the ink flows smoothly and evenly, so it was easy to create different lines and strokes, and I didn't have any cases of the paint overflowing too much and getting oversaturated on the tip. And also, once you put down the colors, they dry relatively quick, which can be a pro or a con depending on how you do your painting style, but I do see this more of a drawing tool anyway, so layering it is the way to go. And I also did notice they do tend to dry a tiny bit darker than when they are wet, but this is the case with a lot of paints, especially gouache and even normal acrylic paint. I'm also not sure how durable the tips are, but the way I used them, I didn't have any problems because I didn't have to put much pressure on these to get any color payoff. I did recall my immediate thoughts of using this after I finished this first drawing, which is coming up just in a second. So the first impression after completing this painting, is it a painting? Is it a drawing when you were using acrylic markers? I really enjoyed them. This particular set has very beautiful colors. They are right up my alley. The coverage is nice. The paint flows really nicely in the pen. I didn't have any problems. I didn't even have to really shake these very much. They layer on top of each other nicely. If you make a mistake, I feel like they're quite forgiving because you can just cover it up with a different layer of paint. I did struggle just a tiny bit at the beginning because it's not a familiar medium that I use, so I had to figure it out how to layer them properly, but I think they're quite easy to get the hang of. These are definitely something that I will keep on my desk from now on and try to incorporate it into my mixed media pieces. On this first painting, I literally just used them by themselves because I wanted to see what they have to give. But I am curious to combine them with a few other mediums, maybe like liners or even some crayons or some colored pencils, I'm not sure. But yeah, overall, very pleasantly surprised with these markers, and I think if you're into a more illustrative style, they are definitely a good art supply. I'm not quite sure how to make them work in a more realistic style because I noticed you can't really blend them together, so it's more a case of layering them up. If you move really quickly, you can try to blend the colors together, but I must admit I do like the layered effect with this. I think this would be really good if you are into character design as well, or if you just like to draw cartoon characters. But they work very well for landscapes as well, as long as you're not looking for a very realistic landscape. And yeah, I'm going to try now maybe to draw some birds or some animals, maybe try a few more different illustration styles, but I don't think I'll have much more else to say. Yeah, without further ado, let's get into the next one. I also have to mention I was so impressed by how intense and rich this black color was. Now lastly, I decided to do a portrait as I do draw them quite often, and I wanted to use these markers in a bit of a different way, the way that I use color pencils in my portraiture. For the landscape drawing, I use most of the first row of the colors with the pinks and purples, and for the dog I use most of the second tier of the colors with the grays and the greens, and I try to do a bit of a combination here with this one. I also wanted to leave some of the white paper to show through, so not every inch of the drawing is covered, because I wanted more of a loose and free approach, especially compared with the first drawing where I was more meticulous and precise. So I did use the markers quite a lot on camera and off camera too, because I really wanted to make sure I'm making a fair review and I'm really putting them to the test so I can be fully confident about what I like or don't like about them. And yeah, I have to report I am very happy with these. I also want to mention not one of them have run out yet, because I've seen it in some of their previous sets that some people have said they don't have too much paint inside. But I will try to make an update once the first one has finished. And as a conclusion, I think these pen markers are really fun. They have vibrant colors, they have a smooth flow, and they are now a permanent addition on my desk. So I would love to hear if you've tried them before, what do you think of them, what do you think of this type of videos. Please leave your thoughts in the comments. I would love to have a conversation. So that's it for today's video. I hope you've enjoyed watching me test some new supplies. I definitely had a lot of fun doing this, and I would love to do some more product reviews in the future. If you missed it, I have made a video about the most popular supplies of last year, where you can watch it just up here. Let me know if there are any materials out there that you'd like me to test out, and until then, I'll see you next time. Bye!